Spring is here and the rains are coming. Are you ready for them? The Eve Water Guard just might be the product that you need to help get you prepared. Hey, Chris Young here from Homekitgeek, the channel where we bring you new smart home content every single week. In this video, we're looking at the Eve Water Guard. So making sure, full disclosure, this particular product was provided to me by Eve, but honestly, I would have spent my money on it anyways. Let me tell you why. I have had the unfortunate experience of being through a couple of floods in my house, and they are, number one, they're not cheap to fix, and they are mostly avoidable if you only have the right detection in place. So the Eve Water Guard, although at first glance it's not an inexpensive product, we're not talking, it's not a $20 range, when compared to the price of actually fixing your house, the replacement of goods, I can't recommend enough that you get something in place for flood detection. And if you're in the HomeKit camp, the Eve Water Guard is definitely something you want to consider. There are some special things about this product which we'll get into, but number one, it is plugged in all the time, no changing batteries. Number two, the extension cable capabilities of it. It does come with a 2-meter, which we'll get into that in the review, but you can extend this thing all the way up to 150 meters. Of course, you have to buy those extra extensions, but that is just amazing. Eve has done a really great job, as usual, of thinking about how their customers are going to use it, customer experience. They have extended the app. All in all, this is a product I can definitely stand up and recommend that you take a look at, right? Again, this is on you to decide. If you're living on a second story, third story, hey, you might not need this. But if you live in a normal house, if your environment has the potential to flood, if you've got a swimming pool, if you've got a washer and dryer, all of those things, water can cause a lot of damage. Nothing more to say than that. And with that, let's take a look. So for those not already familiar with Eve Home, formerly Elgato Eve, this is one of the original HomeKit vendors, and they have been loyal and just continued to release HomeKit products throughout the years that I've been using HomeKit. So the Eve Water Guard is the latest in that suite, and this is a Bluetooth device, although it is also compatible with the Eve Extend, which I've already done a review on, which allows you to leverage the Extend Wi-Fi capabilities and kind of transform this into a Wi-Fi device. So that's really cool. So what does this do? This is a flood sensor. It has visual and acoustic alarms up to 100 decibels, which is really, really loud. So that's great, as well as a flashing light. There is also a 2-meter sensing cable included, but you can extend that up to a crazy, crazy maximum of 150 meters. Now that is just huge. So you're basically going to be able to run this around as much as you need to around any particular room to make sure that you are well protected. So there is a siren test mode here, which is really good. You do not want to find out that your batteries are dead after you've already had a flood. And of course, because this is a HomeKit compatible device, you're able to leverage any of the sensor here with any of your HomeKit scenes. So you're able to trigger actions, lights, play music on your HomePod. All of those capabilities are possible with this device. Let's take a look. So the Eve Water Guard box, again, this is very consistent. Eve has been consistent with their branding throughout the years. It feels like a quality box. It feels like a quality product. And it's very clear on the outside that this works with all the different electrical standards throughout the world, and it's Bluetooth, right? You can see that right on the box. You can see it's Bluetooth. You can see that all the requirements here. Again, I still love that. I still love that the HomeKit certification is right on the box, and it's very clear what you're getting into. Opening up the box, again, well packed, everything nice on display, your HomeKit code nice and well protected right there in front of you. And not only is the HomeKit code on the sheet there on the side, on the documentation, you've also got that right on the device, which is nice, and that is the new QR code. So one of the things I will do is make sure we put a NFC tag on that. So pulling everything out here, you can see here that we've got all the documentation that you need, although that is also available in the app. I will show you that later, and that's also something I'm very much a fan of, is I can put this back in the box and kind of forget about it. Also included in the box is all of the adapter types to be able to plug this in no matter where you live in the world. So I live in North America, so I will use a little 2-prong adapter here that's compatible with the North American style. And then this is the sensing cable. So this, again, something that differentiates this particular one. If you're trying to make a decision between Fabaro and the Eve Home, you can use a sensing cable with the Fabaro, but you kind of have to provide your own. You have to find out where it is. You have to connect it yourself. So Eve has made that extremely easy on us. If you do need a sensing cable, this is definitely one area where the Eve Home is winning a lot of points. So one of the trade-offs here, though, when comparing this to something like some of the other devices, is that this does require a socket. You have to plug this in full time. There is no battery here. So the bright side is batteries never run out, which is good, because you don't want to find out that your batteries ran out after you had the flood. One of the other things that Eve has given us, which is a nice touch, and I'll show you guys this, is the test mode to make sure that everything is working properly. So the first thing we're going to do is quickly get out our QR code reader app, capture that QR code, and write it off to an NFC tag to make sure that we can easily add this later if we need to. So of course the NFC, that step is totally optional. It just, in my experience, makes it a lot easier in the long run. So do it or not, totally up to you. But now that we've got it added and we have the tap to add functionality, let's go ahead and do that and add the Eve Water Guard. So for a Bluetooth device, this was actually a fairly fast pairing process. I have done a little bit of movie magic here because it's still a 30-second process, more or less. So what we're going to do is then add it into the particular room we're going to put it in, which in my case for now is going to be my office until I decide where to put this thing while I test it out. So again, got that in my office. Now we're going to go over to my office and take a look at what we see here. So again, doing a little compare contrast, the Eve Flood or the Eve Water Guard is a little bit different in that it's a leak sensor only. It doesn't appear to have temperature capabilities or some of the other functionalities that some of the other flood sensors might have. But quite honestly, I'm not really concerned about that. I've got other higher quality temperature sensors, which I will use for those purposes. So moving over to the Eve app itself, which is by far one of the best free vendor-provided apps on the market right now, let's take a look at what you can see in the Water Guard. So one of the things, again, that I love here is the Quick Start Guide. The documentation is actually included in the app. That is a huge thing. If you ever have to reset your devices, you're not going on Google and trying to figure out exactly what the setup process and the factory resetup process is for this thing, right? So all that information right in the app. Again, little details like this make a big difference to me. You've also got the alarm test feature, which is built into the app. And not only is the alarm test feature, you also have the notifications to let you know when you should be doing the test reminder. As someone who's gone through a flood more than once in my life already, you definitely don't want to do that. So making sure that the flood sensor is working properly, going through an alarm test, and having a reminder to do that is actually a really, really nice touch. Again, the fact that it's plugged in means the batteries aren't going to run out. I really like some of those features that Eve has put in here. So moving on to the final test, let's see if the Eve Water Guard actually works here. So what I'm going to do here is I've got a bowl of water, and I'm simply going to put the sensing piece right into that. Right, and so we'll see exactly what that looks like. So you might want to turn your speakers down. This may be a little loud. Let's check it out. So the alarm isn't actually as bad as I thought it was, which is nice. It's not that 100 decibel range, in that what we're actually doing is doing the gentle test version of that. So the last thing I wanted to show you here is the Eve Extend integration, which is easy as going into your Eve Extend and assigning the Water Guard to the Eve Extend if you wanted to extend the range. Again, it's Bluetooth, so your range might not be great, and the Eve Extend can definitely help you with that. So first, thank you again to Eve for providing me this Eve Water Guard review unit. Really cool of them, great brand, pleasure to work with, and quite frankly, they allow me to say what I really think, which is always great. I know you guys know that, but again, I just want to point that out. This is my opinion. I'm not being paid to say this. They provided me the unit, and they take the risk of finding out what I really think. If I haven't answered your questions, do me a favor, put those in the comments below, and I will be happy to try to get those answered for you. If you haven't subscribed already, ring that bell so you can be notified when new videos are posted. Likes are always appreciated, shares as well, and you should be seeing somewhere in here a video of which YouTube thinks is best for you. Do me a favor, check that out, spend some time. I'd love to hear from you. See you guys next time.